everyone. This is the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for December 11th, 2019. We've got two items on our agenda. First is to adopt the minutes from last time, and the second will be 68 Belden, which we will get to momentarily. Did you guys take a look at the meeting minutes? I realized, I spoke with Mrs. Priesman, and I had the name of the woman who spoke. The neighbor who spoke was Ann Schneider, who lives on Belden.
Yep. I have no objections.
Looks good. I move to be approved. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Ed, will you tell Liz of the change? It's Ann Schneider, and I don't have her address on Belden, but she's nearby on Belden.
Okay.
80s.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They'll look it up in the book.
She's 3 houses down.
Right. Okay, so the first item on our agenda is the continuation of 68 Belden. Who will be heard on this application?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm going to start it off, and then we'll have a few other people speak. I hope the board application for the various variances that we require. And, sure. So let us take you through, really follows the same format as the packets, not necessarily to reread the packets, but I like to highlight different sections from the packets. And if we could, we'll go through and then maybe take more questions at the end, because some of your questions answered a little further on.
That'll be fine. Could I ask a favor? Could you hold the microphone?
Sure.
If you would. The system isn't the great.
We were struggling with handouts and things. Okay, so your packet that we of what we originally purchased in 1980, the zoning of the property area, impact, you asked last time a little bit with the neighborhood, if this project should move forward, past history of some of the other variances that have been granted on Belden Avenue, legal issues, and then documentation supporting the variance request, which will show questions you might have. So, we requested or started this process to build a single-family home on what I'm saying was an existing 50 by 100 that we had. As you know, and lot 50 was vacant and undeveloped. And a little more in the next slide. Been building application number 2. Felt correctly so that this needed to be looked at by the board. So I took of the property. She is, as we found out last time, is professionally an attorney, and she was for a period of time a senior administrator. Was a fraternity director at New York Presbyterian Hospital and recently retired. Architecture, and also we had, he's one of the managers for Westchester Modular Home, who we are should the project move forward to help us build the property and the home that we want. You know exactly the history, and again, to this, but I think it adds a little bit of relevance to what we're doing. family has 6 generations of roots here in Dobbs Ferry. I remember coming to Dobbs Ferry only in 19 and being in high school, and for 5 years no one would speak to you because you were the new kid. But my wife's family goes back to the 1900s, and our grandson, who is currently in Springhurst, is the 6th generation person in our family. So we love this village, and we've been here many years, and I hope that you. 50 years ago, been married 46 years, we purchased Belden Avenue in question. We remember him from E-Bills Realty, the owner and lead agent for that company. When to build on it, it was selling for roughly 25% more. I think this public price sounds cheap today, obviously. In fact, two house right on Belden that was selling for 65. And the main difference was, he said, this has a building lot, and sell it if you want, or use it for your own expansion or another future. We all that at some point in our life we would want to maybe build a house, an energy efficient home. Retirement, which has unfortunately crept up on us in the last few years. Again, remember this. Talking to an architect at the time, talking about where we should go, and then we talked to the building inspector. What was his name at the time? Okay, but we spoke to the building inspector and the village, and that would be south. Move and keep the house that way, so not to encroach. I'm calling encroach going that way, even though it would give us a better layout for the house than we would have encroached to the point that it would be very hard to ever build anything on that lot. So we left the original lot undeveloped. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. You can look at the packets and the attachments in the packets. There's attachments labeled E to J, and the home that we purchased was 2 lots. Each one of them referred to 34 and 50. Roughly 50, and questioned the village, could we build a house? We were told yes, we could. Again, going back to 1980s, I'm not sure it's definitely not 50-foot lots today, but certainly at that point, everything was okay, and we could move forward to do stuff at that time. Both lots were clearly identified on the property map for the village at the time of purchase, and even now, flip to those, I'll put it where 60. On a number of the properties, they have dotted lines, and they said, I looked at it, I said, what's the dotted line? The town of Greenberg, or the county, acknowledges there were 2 lots, and you'll see that in the area. We look at some of those numbers, and even as late as 2001, a document that I put in your packet that was or something was still referring to the property as 34 and 50. I'm not sure you made it when they went to the new nomenclature.
Reassessment, which was like 2016.
Oh, okay.
I think
so
that's
relatively. Map, which isn't radically different than the current map, because obviously it's the same plot. This is an older established neighborhood. This is not, wasn't like 100. Did something. Homes on it, a number of them go back to the 1800s, including our original house. So this is where we were down here, Belden, as you can clearly see, and you can look, see it better in your packet in the copy, 34 and 50 are the two lots that are indicated here. So you might see 70. This was a 50 with a 20. This house was 50, but bought 50, and he bought the other 30. Kind of see 50 as you go past us going to the east. These lots become, they're in an OF5 zone. That's sort of, our house is the last in this current OF4. And so even they much, but they're definitely off. There's practically no lot on Maple Street over 50. Some of them are only 30 or 25 feet. And again, we can argue, should Maple Street be? Today, the reality is they are. Today, they're in the zone. The other side of that, besides not having setbacks, is a 30 or 25, and the house is way up here in the corner. If you put the two together, I guess they have 50 feet. This house here, which used to belong to the Saks, that recently went through a lot of renovations. Then you got a bigger one, but another 50, 70, 60 feet, I guess. This is the only large lot here. And another 50 feet down here. The area, and I want to get into this more, but that's what it looked like in 19. Showed you, and it's almost impossible. Don't believe me, but I mean, I know you believe me. I'm not trying to. You can see many things. You see a dotted line. These were 50-foot lots, and they be combined time. So the county, and this is the current one online today, is still showing where the 16 is our property, still showing. OF purchase. We already showed that the lots, the other lots in the area. The building is did an addition, but the important thing is, this is from the village itself. 1980, we purchased lot, or at that not on a purchase document, the expansion. The original. Thank God I found it, but I think that at least a minute ago that this was an OS6, which would allow 50-foot lots. Way build another. So what else do we have? Whenever this rezoning, and I don't in place today, but when they changed and also where it happened, certainly we are not aware about that. OF6 zones, I didn't put a copy of the map, but and exists to the south once you get past Ash. most of the of non-conforming uses, and I want you to reference the attachment and of my spreadsheet, so you can kind of follow along with me. Go to this spreadsheet, and I'm not going to read it line by what I did, so then you can better understand, and then we'll go back to the slide that has, and this is 2 pages. There's 50 properties in the immediate area. All but 47 of them are in the OF, which is down to Sherman, or not Sherman, down to, what's the cross street there? You know, right across from us. Totally different. On Sherman, on one side of Sherman, the south side of Sherman, that will certainly get us close enough for order of magnitude. Took the lot depth, again, directly from the map. Calculated the total square footage zone, and put down whether it was or wasn't in the historic zone. Just so you know, our house is not in the historic zone. And was there something conforming against the current OF4 or OF5 requirements for lot width, setback, less than the minimum 12 feet that would be required in an OF4 zone, and lot area. Lot area not bad. A lot of it's historical. A lot of it existed. No one went and built in the middle of the night, but there's a lot. Is a little bit better highlighted from the current tax map. This is OF4 zone, these 3 houses are OF5, and I'm only including OF6, but also point out, also slightly non-conforming because of lot width in particular. So what did we find? As it exists today. Mistakes or not mistakes, as it exists. 2. Only 2 would theoretically, if they wanted to do anything more than maybe just change their roof or add a window, would need to come before this board forward. So 96% of the homes are non-conforming. 7 out of the 50 properties, because that's what the OF4 says. Well, that means 86% of them do not have 100 foot. Some have 50, some have only 20. Only 19 of the 50 needed setbacks. And that's looking at the map, and you look at even some of the homes. don't have the setbacks. Here, this is, I think, Bernie Sater's house, or what? Is in the historic zone. But look where it is on the property. Build something. Need to not just get a permit, which we obviously would do, should need to get some sort of. A lot of the homes you can see are literally on the property lines. Homes closer to Broadway. This one on the line. This one on the line. This one almost on the line here. Certainly doesn't have the. This one on the line. Our house is not on the line, but right next to us, as you all know, have the combined side yards needed because he's way too close. He didn't leave any side. So let me just finish a few of these, and certainly read. I'll be glad to share this electronically if you want to play with it. If you're
No,
Excel guru.
we've all had before
Okay.
last weekend.
Have the required lot area, again, meaning 33 or 66%, don't even have. Thirty-3% of the property is a 50-foot or less. So 66%, you know, when we say is 50. That or not. Majority of the homes currently OF4, OF5, OF6, those are not supposed to be multifamily homes. Belden itself, there were 21 homes, only 5 of the 20. It means have 100-foot lots as required by the current code. 1 out of the 21 homes meets all the zoning requirements. Side yard, frontage, square footage, something would need a variance. If it was construction, or major renovation, or it was being knocked down, and might be happening. I not. Going forward, and whatever the reasoning was, and how put their a zone. Some of what this board deals with, but you can certainly make a decision in our case and say that a lot or follow 21 on Belden Avenue that meets the code and nothing else does. You just can't have that. You can't have 96% of the homes to make any sense. We can however you want. The other question the board asked last time. A good question. Besides our good faith that we're longtime residents, and we're living out some facts for you that we're willing to commit to. First of all, this home is being built for our own use. We're going to own it for the next time, make extra money. We're not building it to rent out to anyone. We're not building it to turn it into an Airbnb. Our plans, we haven't gotten to the Architectural Review Board necessarily, but it certainly will be consistent with the other homes in the neighborhood. very limited. We're trying to maintain as much of the side yards as possible. Plenty of space. We're trying to keep, we're building a modest home. It's going to be 1,700 square feet is our plan right now. We're not building even a McMansion, and it'll be over 2 stories. Be a basement level with a garage, and then it'll be 2 stories above that. Nearby, 2 of them in particular, 1 house, 2 houses down, 4 houses. Why not build Avenue? Exterior materials, finishes, colors will be, of course, guided by the architect. At that point, I'll put yellow polka dots. I don't think they will, but I'm prepared, we are prepared to work with them and do whatever they want to make it cohesive. As I said, we're going to take the base slope. I know it's in what you call slope, and those calculations have been put into the calculations that were shown to you on the other drawings that we had last time. It's not really that steep. I'm not minimizing it. This is not like one of the cliffs that exists in Dobbs Ferry. This is from Belden Avenue to a very level backyard, roughly a 10-foot rise. By putting the house with the garage in the front like the other homes near us, we will come in on the garage level, have the garage level and basement level at grade on Belden, and be able to come out at the back at grade. There will be some side retaining wall, but most of the house will be built into the cliff, and it better gives you less obtrusiveness, if you will, and takes advantage of any energy efficiency by having it built into the cliff. Are the north, as I've already shown you, and if you haven't been by, this is the actual lot itself. Look down, it's 2 cars are. That would be where the house would start. You go into the hill. As you see, patio over here on the side. From here, going all the way back to this all. The house would go in. From an aerial view, again off the our lot. This is the Jones house, which we said goes border to border. This is the next house where there was a variance for a porch, goes literally line again. This property line. Obviously, you get down here to Maple Street, the density is there. Some of you may remember many years ago, the concern. And I'm not just saying that because it didn't look good. It had been abandoned. And the whole question, should houses have South Lane as their neighborhood we're building in? And another small, modest, outrageous. We're trying to do something very modest that fits this lot and very much the. So, what else has happened? And I'm not going to go here. The board knows the system where all the minutes are out there, but if you don't. I think the examples I gave are 3 more. So over the years, there certainly have been some forward turned out.
Apartment.
And but it was built side by side, no side yards, 50 foot in the supposed 100-foot zone. I'm not complaining. Mr. Jones is a fine neighbor if he ever moves in. But far from conforming, putting parts of the property. Insufficient east yard, they didn't have 100 foot of frontage, they were really on street. This used to be owned by Saks. Neglected, I guess is the best way. A local builder bought it, restored it. An inadequate side yard to the west side, exceeded lot coverage requirements. Exceeding the have been put one by
The neighborhood that neighborhood. Okay, we did our confirmed by the village on two different to make us think that this zone ever changed, especially so drastically. I believe Mr. Hoffman, you said it was a mistake. OFC
You know, I mistake.
the OF6 in our, well, that's, now, in the code that was in effect at the time, we were told that needed to give, it says for an amendment procedure, so it has been established that we did buy in an OF6 zone, okay? And this, or to change the zone, it says requirements of the village law of the state of New York implementing or any of the regulations in this chapter. This is the Dobbs Ferry zoning chapter in effect at the time. In case of protest against such proposed change, signed by the owners of 20% of immediate extending 100 feet therefrom, or from the owners of 20% or more of the land directly opposite thereto, extending, okay, it's saying that, it's very specific, 20% that presupposes that there was a written notice. How could they ever calculate such a percentage by just putting a written
At the time, is
I
that still, is that
don't
still the
believe-
law?
I don't believe this is still a law, but this is the law that we could rely on when we bought when we bought our property. Okay? So what I'm
section
saying,
300, it might be the
Section 300, well, Section 384, what I'm saying is that when we bought the property and did our due diligence, having been a lawyer and having read this, I knew that if ever there was a change, not that I considering the draconian type of change that was made. The other thing is, you know, we have equal protection officials. If there's a mistake in the statute, you have to expeditiously amend it through the proper amendment procedure. You can't keep a mistake on for years and let different decide whether this part of the law applies to you or doesn't apply to Maple Street or applies to Belden Avenue. It has to be clear. The reason but not notice to the people on Maple Street because it's a mistake. This is the real one. And if there is a mistake in this code, there is a whole entire in my career and claims against New York City for due process violations every day for the other thing is, we were denied notice and opportunity to be heard. We had been it was a I believe it was a taking by the municipality of our right to build a house on this property without any notice or opportunity to be heard. Now, the other question is spot zoning. Legal practice in New York State. It's been the subject of a lot of litigation because apparently there are a lot of different areas that a lot of apparently considered plan. That's number one. Papers you have. Now, a well-considered plan would non-conforming. What would be reasonable about rezoning a fully established for one or two from building? So I think that also developed, and it's used very liberally, it's applied very liberally in the Hudson Valley. Tried by the village for no apparent reason. As I stated, potential developers from asking for great things. The zoning is to create a harmonious, very aesthetically come in and parcels of land that in other parts of town. So, I believe that that we have to say.
Okay. Yeah, quickly. I'm sorry, but this is very important to us, and if anything we took last time, I won't say too casually, we took it seriously. But the one thing I'd like to point out to you, just real quickly here, is without the mistake, even with the hill and everything, the only variances we would be asking for was certainly another combined. But that's not really the point, but those are not significant or house meets all the OF6 apartments. We are part of the vested in Dobbs Ferry and doing what's right for Dobbs Ferry. One suitable. Very important here, continuously grandfathering, again, not necessarily taking it purely as a legal term, but that someone who owns a piece of property, bought it under one set of conditions, of the we still should have the ability to be considered read the was definitely, and they weren't referring to it maybe any longer as lot. Would not be grandfathered. Legal issues are certainly in the background here. Supreme Court. And this Belden Avenue maybe shouldn't be in this voice.
Now, the
Gain 6. Feet. So we have more than 10 feet this way, but again, then we only have about.
and we,
lot area, but he's figured, so
The old calculator is 7. The property.
anyone else have questions?
No, I don't have a question, I'll make a comment, and then I did listen in to the comments. I just, for the record, I think you mischaracterized the comment about a mistake by our is what it is, and I have to say I'm not persuaded by the legal arguments, and I think as a board, we have to address what are the criteria for variance. With that said, turn it back to you.
Yeah, just a technical thing. The mistake being corrected, and it applied to me, not to
I don't
not
think
to
it
the
was-
property
I don't- and
in question.
nor to the creation of
Yeah.
the zoning as it implied in the thing. So, but I don't think that really has any moment in our decision.
Shall we talk about it among ourselves?
Sure. Do you have any other questions? I'm fine. Up to you. Yes. close.
Move to close, seconded, all in favor? The lot is reasonably close to, there are a number of houses in the neighborhood that are very similar in size, or lots that are similar. But it's basically the same kind of house. I think the key thing is, the zoning and whether it's one lot or two lots are really not relevant to me. It's, this thing is appropriate.
Related on a go-forward basis.
I don't. Property, we've seen, in the, they're all different. Now, you guys.
That's why
It's different.
So I think if you look at it, part of my saying, but if we ignore some of the kind of the legal arguments, which I prior variances that we've granted and the basis of any determination should be based on the balancing factors. I don't think it's an undesirable change. I think it fits within the character of the neighborhood, and that's what the zone. What the zone come before us based upon that. So I don't decide it on any basis of that. My view is they've met the balancing factors.
I agree.
So, agreed.
I move that the application be granted.